Hi, my name is Chin. This channel is a place to explore inner life in a simple, grounded way. There's no belief system here, no self-improvement program, no one to try to convince you of anything. These talks are just gentle reflections drawn from contemplative traditions and from paying close attention to lived experience. If you're feeling overwhelmed, reactive, or just quietly curious about what's happening inside, you're in the right place. Let's begin. There's a familiar moment many people recognize, a moment where something small happens and the reaction feels much bigger than expected. Afterward, there's some often quiet questions. Why did that bother me so much? That wasn't a big deal. That didn't feels like me. This talk is a gentle look at those moments, not to fix them, not to control them, just to understand what's they're revealing. Because once something is seen clearly, it's often no longer needs to shout. And with that, let's look at what usually get misunderstood first. It usually isn't the big things, not betrayal, not tragedy, not catastrophe. It's the very small things. A tone in someone's voice, a comment that lands sideways, a door slams a little bit too hard, someone chewing loudly at the wrong moment, and suddenly something explodes. The reaction feels immediate, personal, uncomfortable, and uncontrollable. And afterward, there's often confusions. Why did that bother me so much? That wasn't a big deal. That wasn't me. But something important is being revealed in those moments, not about the situation, about what was already waiting underneath. And once this pattern is noticed, that the reaction feels larger than the moment, a natural question follows. Where is the rest of that intensity coming from? Notice how it works. The trigger happens now, but the intensity feels older, heavier than the moment deserves. Like opening a small door and discovering a warehouse of emotion behind it. This is where most confusions begins. The mind say, that person caused this. But if that's what the true, everyone would react the same way, but they don't. Which means the reaction didn't come from the event. The event simply knocked it. Something inside answer. Now, this delay between the event and the intensity become easier to understand with a simple image. Imagine a dog sleeping peacefully under a table. The room is quiet, nothing dramatic is happening. Then someone walks by, steps on its tail by accident, and the dog wakes up snapping, growling, barking, furious. The footstep didn't create the dog, it's only woke it up. That's what triggers do. They don't create anger, they reveal what was already asleep inside. What this image points to is something a renowned author, Eckhart Tolle, named very precisely. Eckhart gave this sleeping force a name, the pain body, not a metaphorical idea, an energetic accumulations of all emotional pain, unfelt grief, suppressed anger, unprocessed shames, moments where emotions has nowhere to go. That energy didn't disappear, it waits. And when it's touched, it wakes up hungry. Not hunger for solutions, hunger for drama. Because drama feeds it. Conflicts gives it energy. Stories keep it alive. Blames make it feel real. And once this energy wakes up, it doesn't stay quiet. It looks for a voice. Here's a strange part. Once the pain body wakes up, it doesn't say, hello, I am unresolved emotional energy. Nice meeting you. No, it says, they disrespecting you. This always happens. You have every right to be angry. It speaks through thought. That's why it feels justified. The mind becomes its narrator, the story becomes its food, and the body feels possessed, right? Well, later, when the energy passes, there's often these quiet realizations. That wasn't really about them. Correct, it wasn't. This is also why triggers often feel so personal. They touch something that was already tender, already there. Picture this. An old scar on the arm, most days, is invisible, right? Forgotten. But someone brushes against it accidentally as you're walking out on the market or somewhere, and suddenly there's pain, sharp, surprising, emotional pain. The person didn't create the wound, they didn't deepen it, they touched something that was already sensitive. That's what triggers are. They don't injure, they expose. Now, this same mechanism was described long before modern psychology has language for it. For those of you who are into modern psychology, author Michael A. Singer, the author of The Untethered Soul and many well-known books, call this Samskara, a store impressions, a place where energy got stuck because it wasn't allowed to move through at the time. Life continues, the moment passes, but energy remains. So the system become protective, right? Overreactive, alert and ready. Not because it's broken, because it learned something once and never got to finish the experience, as Michael put it. Now, seeing this clearly changes how reactions are often approached, because most of what's commonly suggested miss what's actually happening. Most people try to manage triggers by controlling behavior. Don't get angry, stay calm, count to 10. But reaction isn't a choice. In that moment, is an activations, a wave, a pattern older than the present situation most time. Trying to control it is like yelling at a thunderstorm, and that's really works. The storm doesn't need discipline, it needs space. Now, a simple image helps make this differentiation clear. Imagine a fire alarm that is tuned a little too sensitive, right? You're making some toast, and burnt toast, it screams. Steam from the shower, it screams. Someone wave a towel, it screams. Now, the alarm isn't evil, it isn't broken. It learns danger once and never forgot. So it's alert constantly. The solution isn't to argue with the alarm, right? It isn't to shame it. It's to realize there is no fire right now. And once this is seen, something subtle but important become possible. Here's the recognitions that change everything. A reflection can be watch. Or rather, a reaction can be watch. It cannot be who you are. If it can be watched, it can't be who you are. If anger arises, something is aware of it. If a search happens, there's already space around it. That space is not reactive. It doesn't argue, it doesn't justify, it doesn't escalate, right? It simply just notice. Something old is moving. And when it's allowed to move without story, without blame, it completes itself. Energy leaves. It moved through the body, the same way it arrived. So, at the end of the day, triggers aren't failures. They're invitations. Not to fix the world, not to control other people, but to see clearly this moment is touching something much older, and awareness is already here. When that is recognized, the pain body loses its fuel. No drama, no war, no suppressions, just space. And in that space, what's once exploded quietly dissolves. Thank you for listening.